Big Wrath loot changes are coming, and whether you're raiding on 4 characters a week or just coming back to the game, these are the changes you need to know about. From the new loot Titan Rune mode beta will drop, to what will change with the Ulduar gear, to the loot changes nobody's talking about, I'm going to cover everything so you know what to expect in the next phase. So first off, let's establish some ground rules. Trial of the Crusader is a catch-up phase. Even if it feels unfair, this phase is designed to bring players back to the game. With that established, we have to talk about the new Titan Rune mode. You've already been able to get 200 item level gear from normal bosses in Titan Rune Alpha, and that's on top of the 213 gear from the final bosses. Let's just call this mode Heroic Plus. Then there's the new Titan Rune mode beta that was recently data mined as well as mentioned by Blizzard in the past. Remember how the Titan Rune Alpha modifies damage by 30% and mob health by 100%? Well, now it's 40% more damage and 140% more health. And there's a new Titan Rune that even summons the Keepers of Ulduar to help you. Considering that current Titan Rune mode dungeons are pretty easy, it does seem like these are yet again designed to be a catch-up mechanic for fresh characters. I know I'm going to be locking my Fury Warrior in these dungeons until I'm fully caught up. So you might ask, what kind of gear is going to drop from the new Titan Rune mode? Well, since 232 gear will be given out like candy in Trial of the Crusader 10-mans, 225 item level gear dropping from the new Titan Rune beta is all but guaranteed. And Blizzard themselves have mentioned adding hard mode gear to the mode in Phase 3. We can likely expect 10-man hard mode loot to be added to the new dungeon mode from the final bosses. This does create an interesting gameplay loop though. On my fresh characters, I'm going to be going into the Titan Rune mode alpha first to get 200 item level pieces. Then I'll switch to beta mode to get raid quality loot. Hey, I didn't tell my Fury Warrior to leave that dungeon. Get back in there. Though a lot of questions still remain. First of all, what happens to Ulduar itself? In a past interview, Blizzard did mention wanting players to go back to Ulduar with their TOC groups to get BIS trinkets, and the leaked changes for Ulduar do show us that the raid will be designed to be a loot pinata that you clear after your more difficult TOC raids. We also have direct quotes from devs saying they don't want players to feel forced to do the same raid multiple times per week, so that's where new raid loot changes come in, and we'll talk about them in a second. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit the notification bell. But first you have to remember that Phase 3 is designed to bring players back to the game, even at the cost of devaluing your rare items. So sure, your runestone's gonna get devalued, but more players coming back to the game is a win in the long term. The idea is that everybody's supposed to be at a level playing field in time for Icecrown Citadel. And Cataclysm. I mean, you can't forget Cataclysm. So yeah, just like in Next Ramus, giving 25-man normal loot and 10-man Ulduar is the natural choice. Then you could save 25-man hard mode loot for just the 25 raid. That way you get to catch up on 10-mans, but if you want the most overpowered Algalon loot, you'd have to do 25s. Blizzard also does have the ability to open doors like we saw during the Ulduar PTR. It's very possible that Blizzard will open up skips to Vezex and Yogg, though nothing is guaranteed. But that does leave the elephant in the room, Valanyr Fragments. Should Valanyr Fragments just start dropping from 10-mans like candy? I would vote absolutely not, since that would ruin the rarity of the item. But I can also see a small chance of getting fragments from 10-man hard modes as an option Blizzard would explore. Alright, so what about emblems? Well, Defense Protocol Alpha gives us 5 Emblems of Conquest per day. So Defense Protocol Beta will definitely give us at least 5, if not more. We'll also be getting Conquest Emblems from every single dungeon and raid. The exception being, of course, Trial of the Crusader, which will give us Triumph Emblems. Yet again, this means Heroic Plus is a great way to get emblem gear without ever setting foot in a raid. And speaking of dungeons, there's one change in 3.2 we might see again. You know how sold-out items can't currently be traded in normal dungeons. 3.2 is actually the patch that this changed in the original game. Whether Blizzard remembers to make this change or not is a different story, but it would be a nice improvement. You wouldn't have to worry about accidentally stealing someone's BIS gear. It would also be a buff to the boosting meta, since you could play the game completely AFK while your booster trades you BIS upgrades. It sounds pretty good to me. Though if you want more BIS upgrades, you've got to check out my video to unlock BIS gear with Emblems of Triumph. Check that video out next.